Well, you probably figured out by now that equanimity is my favorite topic. I call it by all kinds of different names: bliss, nirvana, ecstasy. I even say things like timelessness and breathlessness and all of these different ways of trying to explain the same thing. When I say depression is beautiful, I'm talking about equanimity. I have been pursuing equanimity my entire life. And the bottom line is equanimity may be the best word for it. Equanimity means even mindedness. It means I'm seeing everything the same. Whether I'm winning or losing, whether I'm in pleasure or pain, when we get to a state called equanimity, we're experiencing all as just a flow of energy and information. There's no judgment. There's no value saying I'd prefer this one over that one. And that's experienced as bliss. So when you're in a state of equanimity and you're experiencing all of the flow and energy and information that you would say is depression, you're not experiencing a suffering from it. You're experiencing this beautiful flow that's rich and detailed and full of texture, but you're experiencing it no different than any other state. That's how you get to the point where you start saying, I see all of life as beautiful. I see bliss in everything. Well, the reason I tend to focus on the beauty in depression is because it's cleaner than the happiness-induced bliss of the other states. It's really easy to go, I'm really enjoying this state and everything's wonderful, when I'm happy and everything's going great. The problem is it's really also easy to confuse that with bliss or timelessness or equanimity. On the other end, if I can find bliss and timelessness and equanimity in my pains, then I can find this pure state of equanimity. I can find this state that even while the world is crashing around, even while the flow of energy and information is of a painful nature, if I can feel that bliss, that equanimity during there, I'm real clear on what that means. When I then feel it in my happy moments, I can see that equanimity isn't dependent on those states. It's not dependent on the happiness. It takes on rich texture also. So equanimity means no matter where I am in that path, I'm seeing it all the same. How do you get to there? Well, that's why we have this exercise. That's why we have part of the tool set called equanimity. Because what we need to do is start looking for it and start practicing it all of the time. The easiest places to practice that is when I'm sitting down doing my meditation exercises. I'm sitting down and I'm slowing down my consciousness. My breath is naturally slowing down. I'm feeling myself going into a peaceful state. It's really easy, now that I don't have all of this flow of energy and information going, to feel the blissfulness of it, to feel the peace, to recognize that time has slowed down. So a good time to look for equanimity is at the end of my meditation, when I'm done focusing on the process of meditating, and I'm just sitting there going, I like this space. I found a space of timelessness, and I just let it happen, and I watch for it. The hardest time to practice equanimity is when the flow of energy and information is overwhelmingly intense. Really hard to find equanimity there. So what I need to do is I need to cultivate the moments where I can enjoy it. We all kind of relate to this idea. We talk about time at the beach, when I'm just listening to the waves flowing in and feeling the warmth of the sun, or walking through a redwood forest where I'm just kind of at one with nature. Those are the times we need to look for equanimity and cultivate it. But the times that we need to practice equanimity is when things aren't going so well. While I'm depressed, while I'm going through a difficult time, I need to try to learn to watch for those moments of equanimity during that. Because when I can find it there, I can find it all over the place. So when I'm in stressful situations and I remind myself that equanimity is just as much in this state as in my peaceful moments, where is it? How can I find it? I start finding glimpses of times when it's just as much there as in any other time. And that doesn't make sense to anybody. So people go, I buy everything Tom's saying, but this idea that there's beauty in depression, I just can't see. Maybe it's because you haven't looked for it. Maybe it's because you haven't cultivated equanimity in the times where it's easy to find, but then purposely looked for it during the difficult moments. Tried to think about, how can I possibly see equanimity when everything is gone to hell, when everything seems impossible? If I take those moments and I remember equanimity is in here, if I would just stop and look for it, that changes my entire experience of those moments. When we looked at time and we thought about the fact that in those deep depressions, moments seem to drag on. Those moments that slow down are great opportunities to just stop everything and go, is there some equanimity in this moment? I feel the pain intensely, but I also feel the equanimity. Those are wonderful moments to try to look for it. Now on the other end, when I'm high and I've got so much energy and I get all caught up and time starts rushing, I can look for equanimity in there and find it that's even harder than the depressive side. It's actually easier to find equanimity in that slowed down depression than it is in that rush of mania. But while I'm in that rush of mania, I can remind myself, there's equanimity here too. Where is it? Inside that rush of mania, there can be little glimpses of momentary bliss, of momentary times where I see this just as equal, just as blissful as the times I found during my meditations and the times I found during my deep depressions. So equanimity means I look for it in all places. I can't find equanimity when I say it's not here and it's not here and it's not here. It's only here. When I make equanimity only exist in the peaceful moments of my life, that's not equanimity. That's not equanimity at all. That's saying the opposite of equanimity. That's saying that it's only allowed to happen while I cultivated peace. And I completely miss the point. I need to use that as a way to find it, but then I need to look for that feeling in all the other states, because purely that's the definition of equanimity. I can find equanimity in all states. That's what we should be looking for.